Hello, everybody. My name is Meso, and I am honored and very happy to present to you a review of the new Ninjago book, Quest for the Lost Powers: Four Untold Tales, written by Tracy West and Adam Beechin. Before we get into anything, I would just like to disclose a few things. Number one, this will be a spoiler free review of the book. There will be no plot details, no substantial plot information revealed in this video because the book has not been released yet. Which brings me to number two. We have been provided a review copy of this book by Lego. So, yes, this is a sponsored video, but rest assured, the opinions towards this book are my own, which I can promise you 100%. I will give this book an honest review and do as best as I can to cover it without revealing any substantial plot information. As for the specific details of the book, it'll be released on March 7th. If you would like to purchase it, it is retailing for the physical copy will be retailing for $12, and the digital Kindle version will be retailing for $9, at least on Amazon. Now, it's not coming out on the 7th in all countries, but that's at least the release information for the United States. So what is this book? Well, according to the plot synopsis provided on Amazon, publicly released information, the world of LEGO Ninjago is changing, and Master Wu, Kai, and the other Spinjitzu masters must face an all-new challenge unlike any they have ever faced before. Or have they? Will a forgotten adventure from their past give them the clues they need to face the future? Find out in this action-packed chapter book series that is illustrated throughout and features 4 all-new adventures of LEGO Mighty Masters of Spinjitzu, which is a funny sentence. Now, there is some additional information which was provided through a few different sites. Amit Studio provided a synopsis which directly states that the events follow from the end of the second half year 2022 season, aka Ninjago Crystalized, quote, when the ninja team struggled against the super powerful evil Crystal King. So for anyone wondering as to the book's canonicity status, we're going to err on the side of the book being canon until we get some information later on to contradict that. If we ever do, hopefully we don't, because this book is very much presented as a canon story directly following the events of Crystalized. Additionally, there is a publicly released preview page of the prologue, which was actually released on kobo.com. So I guess this technically counts as a spoiler, but it's very foundational knowledge as to the book. As you can tell from the title, Quest for the Lost Powers, the book is about ... the ninja recovering their powers after the end of Ninjago Crystalized. That's publicly released information. That's the premise. So a large discussion as to this book's quality and whether it's good or not will hinge on how you feel about that plot point, because in Crystalized, it was very divisive, to put it mildly. A lot of people wished they didn't even have them lose their powers. A lot of them wish they would have kept their powers gone and not immediately returned them. But in Crystalized, Master Wu basically said that they would get their powers back eventually, so everyone kind of was braced for this becoming a reality. At this point, you just make your peace with it, whether you like or dislike it. It's not really the book's fault for Crystalized's writing decisions. The authors of this book are simply trying to tell a good story in the Ninjago universe with the premise that they've been provided. So is it executed well? The book is split into 4 stories. We have a story for Kai, Cole, Zane, and Jay. And it is my opinion, as far as my review is concerned, about half of them are very interesting. I found 2 stories very compelling, and I found 2 not so compelling. I think that the 2 I liked were Zane and Jay, and I can't really get into why because it's very spoilerific, but suffice to say, they're very introspective stories. They really get at the characterization. They touch on a lot of interesting themes, and they play with character dynamics in a way that I really could get behind. And it was clear to me that the writer of those stories was very in tune with some community wants, some community desires, and they really did good in portraying those characters well. And I came away from the stories feeling like I enjoyed Zane and Jay a little bit more than I did before. I feel like I got something new out of their stories that the show either couldn't or has just chosen not to provide. And I really enjoyed it. Kai and Cole, well, let's just say if you don't like the amount of screen time or focus that Kai and Cole have gotten in recent seasons of Ninjago, you're probably not going to come away from this book with a different, wild appreciation for them as characters. It's pretty standard fare. It's pretty formulaic. You know, there are some things here and there. There's some fun interactions. There's some fun characterizations, but ultimately, it's nothing you haven't seen before. It's nothing really revolutionary. And I wasn't really floored by their particular stories. So when you split it down the middle like that, and you say, okay, 50% really interested me, the other 50% didn't, well, could I necessarily recommend this book? I would say if you were invested in the Ninjago story and you'd like to see the franchise spin out into different mediums, this book is worth a read. It's worth a pickup because they're trying something new here. They're trying something new because it acts as a bridge between visual media content. You know, if the ninja appear in the next season and they have their powers back, you're probably going to want to know how that happened. The closest we've ever come to this before was the Dark Island trilogy of graphic novels, which they didn't really serve as an in-between. None of the information was mandatory, but it was included as a mural in March of the Oni as a canon Ninjago story worth reading. And somebody who watched March of the Oni and saw that mural would probably be like, oh, I'd like to know what happened in there and why Klaus is randomly in this picture. So they were incentivized to go read the book. And I feel the same thing will be true here. This book, it is worth reading if you care about following along with the Ninjago story, not missing a beat, not missing some valuable context. And I do think that Zane and Jay in particular are done very well by this book, and they have an opportunity to do cool things that the regular show has not had a chance to provide. But is anything in here crazy, earth shattering? You've never seen this before? Not really. It plays it safe in a lot of ways. It's a Ninjago adventure. You know, you're gonna have Kai doing Kai things. He's written in character. He's portrayed as you would expect Kai to be, but you're not really gonna get anything out of him that you didn't get just from watching the show. So I would say if you consume Ninjago media regularly, check this out. You're gonna have a good time. If you're someone who's been displeased by the way Ninjago's been going, and if you're someone who hasn't necessarily been crazy about the recent seasons and their writing choices, I'd say there's actually a chance you may prefer this book to one of the recent seasons because it is character centric. It does really boil things down and really just focus on the core ninja, which is something a lot of people feel's been lacking. So it's a toss up, but ultimately it's not that expensive. You know, if you want to buy the digital version, it's only like $9. Physical version's only 12. You're not really losing a lot. I'd say the real dividing line is going to come down to how you feel about books being integrated in the main story. Because I know a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people feel one of the strengths of Ninjago is actually that the visual media is the sole purpose of the story. You don't have to go consume 18 different pieces of supplemental information to get the full picture. And maybe going this far into things and starting to divvy up the story material might make it too hard to follow along. And if you're someone who prefers to just keep things to the show, this book's existence may actually be a bad thing for you. But if you're someone who's been fatigued of having to just watch the show, if you're someone who reads Spinjitzu Brothers and who keeps up with the Garmadon comic series, and you like seeing Ninjago spin out in different creative ways, this actually might appeal to you a lot. And it might be a good entryway into Ninjago's other supplemental material because it ties into the show directly, unlike something like Garmadon or Spinjitzu Brothers, which are more tertiary information. They're more fully overt side quests with non-main characters. Make that judgment call for yourself. Evaluate how you feel about Ninjago, where it's been lately, and where it's going. But I enjoyed it. I overall came away, yeah, it's 50-50 split, but the parts I enjoyed, I really enjoyed. And I think they're actually better than how modern Ninjago has been over the last few years. That's not nothing. That's worth praising in a world where I criticize basically everything about this franchise. I got to be fair every now and again. So, if you like this review, please leave your thoughts in the comments section below. When the book comes out, I'd really love to hear your thoughts. We're going to be doing a spoiler filled breakdown eventually. Once things have settled a little bit, the community's had time to read it and fully absorb the information. But for now, that's all I've got. Thank you once again to LEGO for providing this review copy. And that's all I have to say. Please feel free to like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you'd like more LEGO and Ninjago content from this channel. I'm Meso, and I will see you all for the next video. Farewell.